Hi loves, it's Nicole. I'm sure you've seen the title, so you already know what it is. I had another video planned for this week, but what good is having a platform that's centered around this very topic and we don't discuss it? To clarify, I will not be speculating on the validity of anybody's truth. What I want to talk about are things centered around workplace bullying, harassment, intimidation that I feel like pertaining to this situation needs to be addressed. Let me start off by saying I do not need to know 100% of the facts about this ordeal, meaning I do not have to relate to the circumstances when I relate to the experiences. So I'm going to be speaking from a personal experience perspective and not necessarily Lizzo and the dancers' totality of their situation based off of speculations or what have you. I'm just going to collate some things that have rubbed me the wrong way and relate my experiences that I've been talking about for months now on this channel. First thing I want to talk about is they waited until after they were fired to talk about this matter. Now, who sinks a ship while they're still on it? And we have not created safe places and time for people to talk about the challenges they have in the workplace while they're actually experiencing them. We have yet to normalize immediately speaking up. More importantly, in their line of profession, who were they supposed to tell? What HR? Were they supposed to come to you all publicly? And then what were you going to do? Furthermore, yes, they waited until after because that's when it was safe to talk about it. The second comment, they sound like bitter, disgruntled ex-employees. Now, this one grinds my gear to the 100th power. I am in confusion as to for why we act like being upset about being abused is not a normal reaction. I don't know not nan victim who has been victimized that is not upset about their circumstances, their experiences, their encounters. And for people to place that onto someone, that title of being disgruntled about what they encountered, is asinine. This is the very reason why I was very strategic about coming on to YouTube, any platform, and openly discussing and sharing what it is that I have encountered. For the sake of knowing that that label was going to be potentially placed onto me. Therefore, I intentionally omitted naming the organization, saying specific people's names that I am referring to as to not distract from the bigger issue. I wanted to ensure that the thing stayed the thing and the focus not be on who I was referring to, but the cause of what I was referring to. We have a global problem. No one is exempt. Not lawyers, not doctors, not teachers, not nonprofit, not government workers, not actors, not even dancers. I wanted my initiative to be focused on laws and impactful change. And I knew that there had to be a certain way in which I needed to present that in order for me to either be taken seriously or for people to find me believable or ethical. And I knew that there was a certain way that I would have to do that so that I would not encounter victim shaming. Not that I should even have to put that much thought into sharing my personal experiences, as it is my right to share my personal experiences. Because either way, me being bitter does not negate that I was bullied, harassed, intimidated, and retaliated against in the workplace. Furthermore, it is a natural response for me to be vexed about what I encountered and what I experienced. And for anyone to rob folk of their emotions because their emotions don't live up to one's expectations of how they should handle their trauma, their pain, is selfish and unfair. Third, If it was that bad, why did they stay? This one is just simply ridiculous. Not everyone has the resources and the ability to just up and go and get another job. Like, let's be realistic about that. Not everybody is financially stable to just walk away without income or an idea about how they're going to get that supplemental income, without support, without a plan. Then one must consider lack of opportunities. There are not a lot of artists who are hiring or seeking glamorous size dancers. Now listen, because I know people be having selective hearing. I said there are not a lot of. Not that there are not other artists these ladies could have quit working from Lizzo to go over and start working for someone else. Meaning that their selection is far less greater than my selection, my opportunities as a dancer. And that's a fact. So I don't want anybody to feel obligated to enlighten me about what artists hire what size women. This is my lane, and I said what I said. Also consider sometimes people convince themselves that they can handle it. Their workplace problems are not really that bad. I surely did. I was telling myself that I can handle it until I went to therapy, and my therapist was like, but sis, you're not handling it. She put me in my place real quickly because mentally I was in shambles. Here's the biggest one to think about. So I am supposed to walk away from my dreams, my calling, my passion because my boss is trash and arrogant. As I told you all, I loved what I did. I just didn't love who I was doing it for. And that love at the time was greater than my common sense, greater than the toxic circumstances I was in. But that was because my mind and my judgment was clouded. And how dare anyone criticize me for that? Criticize anyone for not making what they would consider the best decision or the right decision or the decision that they would have made if they were in that particular situation. The fourth thing, they are obviously lying because we saw them on Lizzo's show. We saw how she was with them and it was nothing but positivity and she was extremely nice. First of all of them a lie? Everybody? Second, I had a friend who said it best, that there is a thing called action. Therefore, people know how to manipulate the camera when that lens is on them. But honestly, this feels like a moment where people are choosing to be disconnected from reality because we all know the authenticity of someone's actions are not when the cameras are on, but when they're off. Third, just because you witness someone create a platform about body positivity does not mean that they abide by or uphold the same image that they portray. Gaslighting is a real thing, and so is establishing a lane and capitalizing off of something that can be weaponized and used to hurt, undermine, dehumanize, criticize a margin of people. I was working for a Black arts organization whose mission was to cater to Black artists, the same people they were abusing. So it's not uncommon for people to create a platform, create a niche that's going to draw in people, draw in a following, draw in money, draw in funding. Those things are intentional, and they are intentional for a reason. I come on here and I talk about bullying, harassment, intimidation. That doesn't mean that I'm exempt from displaying those same behaviors I condemn against other people. If I knew it was the thing for me to come on here and talk about bullying, workplace, all of those things, right? This is going to get me a huge following, even though this is not what any of this is about. But say I knew that this is the lane, this was the niche that I needed to get on, in order to get people to like and comment and subscribe and do all of those things, right? Now I become this figure, this spokesperson for this cause. Then you find out I'm doing the very same thing, which 9 times out of 10 is what happens, because who are we talking about? Narcissists. This is what a narcissist does. They find their angle and they weaponize it. And they become so good at gaslighting folk that it becomes so unbelievable that this person who has this platform talking about this particular thing is capable of doing what people said they did. I have told you all before that people can be an angel to you and the devil to somebody else. We do not know every side of every human on this planet verse. We are multi-layered, complex individuals. There's a side of me that you guys will never see, and that's human nature. Lastly, I want to address this one thing about timing in terms of them coming together and suing. We all know that there are power in numbers. We know this. Those numbers do not confirm nor deny the authenticity of someone's situation. But as a society, we are more inclined to believe multiple people than we are with one person. Multiple sources for us logically makes more sense than me, one person coming on here and saying, I was with this organization. These are the things that happened. Me inviting others who were there as well to share their experiences. And the same integrity that I have brings more validity to the situation. Then it's like, if only one person would have spoken up, everybody would have been like, well, where's everybody else? It only happened to you. And so multiple people have spoken up, and we're questioning the fact that it's multiple people speaking up. Like, we can't win. Like, we give no room for things to look a certain way or things to be a certain way, to them waiting until they got fired to sue. Let me break this down for you. I, Nicole, have made the personal decision to not sue the organization in which I am referring to, right? Because this is an initiative for me. It's greater than me. Hello, here I am talking about somebody else's situation, and suing would only benefit me monetarily. However, if and when I do decide, others will join me. And it's not because of anything other than that support. Who will want to go at it alone? Mind you, I will if I have to, though. And I've established that out the gate. Nicole is going to do what Nicole needs to do solo. And if anybody feels in their time in life that if I did it, they want to partake, so be it. Why do we have a hard time understanding the comfort someone would have in not doing something like that alone? Also, you're fired at that point, so you're safe to speak. Again, who were they supposed to go to? Other than getting a lawyer, what was supposed to be their response? To further isolate this situation for myself. As a reminder, I was working for the organization for 6 years. The last year, I was a contractor for 6 months. Unbeknownst to them, my assistant resigned. So that left no one in my department. That leaving no one, we rediscussed negotiations in terms of extending my contract. Now, extending this contract was beneficial to the organization, not to me at all, right? However, although in those 6 months, I had absolutely no problems. Why? Because at this time, my assistant was now the victim. When my assistant left, there came a new person, Sherifat, we've already discussed this, who then became the victim. In that time, the organization band together to get things addressed with HR and the board chair about the executive director at the time. And we all know how that went. If you don't know, I can post that story for you and you can follow along with that. Point is, I was asked to extend my contract. I was going to do it for the school year. The executive director was like, Ursula, Again, if you don't know who I'm talking about, I will link it. She wanted to do it for the end of the actual calendar year, right? Again, because all of this benefits her. Then boom, this investigation thing happens. The investigation thing happens. My contract states that we can change the parameters of the contract, e.g. timelines or whatever, as needed. I get on the phone a week later with Ursula, and she wants to, out of spite, make changes to the contract, which then would have moved things up for her to start paying me less, because sis is a narcissist and she's vindictive. Follow me here. I'm going somewhere with this. So with that, I'm like, okay, we making changes. Well, let's go ahead and take next year off. What did I do in that moment? I stripped away her ability to be cruel and vindictive. That power that I took by saying, we're going to play these games, let's go ahead and make this official. I'll be done at the end of this year instead of next year. Sis went home and thought about that over the entire weekend. Wee hours in the morning, I'm getting this email. I had some time to think about it. I meet with her and she's on this verge of tears. Why? Because she doesn't have herself set up yet. Follow me, because I'm going somewhere with this. Fast forward a couple of months, an open letter comes out, and we had a discussion, she and I. And again, at this point, I'm already like, sis, just go ahead and take me off next year. She lets me know in our discussion, which is now about October, when this investigation is over, or I'm gonna have a lot to say. I need y'all to catch what I'm throwing. Cool. You're gonna have a lot to say, right? Come December, I'm already ready to part ways. But the thing is, I want her to break the contract. Follow me here. I'm going somewhere. Her breaking the contract supports the proof that I have of retaliation. I'm going to show the timeline in which you said what you said and you did what you did, which then resulted in you wanting to be the one to be able to be like, well, I want to break ties. Do you, boo? Do you? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to show the pattern of behavior. I have the evidence and the proof of the bullying, the harassment, the intimidation, the retaliation. Those ladies getting fired based off of the circumstances in which they were fired is proof. Follow me here. I'm going somewhere. So questioning why they would speak when it's safe for them to speak and allowing themselves to be fired if you didn't catch what I threw, I don't know what to tell you. But we are so enamored with criticizing people's decisions based off of a situation that they are in. We have this fascination with how they should react to things. And I just want to say, back off. It's irritating. You darned if you do, you're darned if you don't. Where's the protection for a lot of us who are in these particular situations? What's the protection? HR, who is not necessarily for us as the individuals that work for the organization, e.g. Lizzo is not an organization. Hello. What HR? Where were they supposed to go? Who were they supposed to bring their complaints to? We make it seem like it's, oh, so easy. This what you should have done. They're lying because they went about it in this particular way. Again, I'm not going to sit here and debate if anybody's lying. I'm just saying, I've been there. I was working for an organization who didn't even have HR, nor did they have enough employees for even us to go and file an EEOC complaint. Because there's no laws that protect the little people. It only protects the big people who have significant amount of money to lose. But I'm gonna hop up off my soapbox before my legal team see this and they're like, you ready? There's a bigger calling for what it is that I need to do, because I'm not selfish. I'm not self-centered. I'm not arrogant, but I am very passionate. And this situation did nothing but fuel the fire into why I need to do what I need to do to protect all of us who do not have protection. Anyway, that's it. That's all. I hope you guys will join me next week for our regularly scheduled, well, this is regularly scheduled too, but something a little bit more on the milder side. A video that's very dear to my heart. You're welcome in advance. Seriously, you'll thank me later. And of course, if no one told you, let me be the one to tell you. I love you. Bye.